Hi, everybody. This is Megan and Steve with Hustling for Excellence. And tonight we're here to talk to you about communication. And the number one skill of communication is actually to not talk at all, but to listen.
What? I wasn't paying attention.
Exactly. No, but truly, with no joking aside, you will hear
All
it said.
joking aside.
What?
No. See, this is bad communication. That's what I'm saying.
Thanks for proving my point, Stephen. But no, you'll hear it said that the best communicators actually say very little. They listen to what the other person is saying, and instead of listening to respond and just thinking about what they want to say, they're truly receiving the message of the other speaker and listening with empathy and understanding. And if they don't understand, they're asking for clarification as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, that's such a good point, right? Everything we do, we need to communicate. And I'd say today I'm thinking of communicating more of the verbal sense. Yes, nonverbal is a huge part of communication, but I'm actually thinking about the verbal piece and listening, because I need to work on that. Because a lot of times when people talk and they're trying to make a point, in my mind, I'm already formulating my response, which obviously means I'm not really hearing what they're saying at all. So it's kind of missing the point of communication. So, I know I've kind of worked on that and read a few good books, multiple books, but yeah, it's something I think we all need to work on.
Yeah, and one of the big things there when you're listening to others is removing all outside distractions. Are you sitting there checking your phone, looking at things when they're trying to tell you something important? Or are you distracted by the kids running around the house, as I just was before we started this Zoom meeting, or the dog barking? Any number of distractions. You need to learn to set those things aside so you can truly listen, because if you don't, the person you're speaking with, because they're talking, whether they realize it or not, they're subconsciously taking that in as, that you don't really care about what they have to say. And
so true.
Yes, and there's actually a really great book called Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. And he talks all about that and how we don't realize that most of our communication truly is violent. And I think people mistakenly don't understand the title, because they're like, oh, well, they didn't say anything violent. But what he means by that, and what the whole idea behind nonviolent communication is, that it makes it unable for the people speaking to each other to be able to open up fully and be vulnerable with their communication. That a lot of people, if you're speaking to somebody, are you putting them on the defensive by saying words like, well, you said this, or, just being overly aggressive sometimes in the way you speak. So it's a huge part really of listening to another person speak, is to make sure that you're really in that moment and truly giving them your 100% focus.
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably the first thing, is that removing all the distractions, if you could, or as many as you can, and being in the right environment to speak. And kind of the level of the topic. I mean, is this a topic that is going to take some serious time and depth, because you're going to have to kind of ask a few questions, or is this just small talk, right? So, I mean, set those times, set those parameters, scheduled on the calendar, because I know I'm bad at it sometimes when, I come by in the middle of the day and you might be working, and I just ask this question about, hey, did you do X, Y, and Z? And I'm, you're right in the middle of your task and working, and I may ask a question, and it's like, yeah, obviously I'm not going to get a good answer because it's not the right time to ask a question. So, and you mentioned the book, Nonviolent Communications. I was also thinking about one that I know you and I both have read, and Crucial Communications, a really excellent book. Again, talks about that. Basically, not just having those tough conversations at the wrong time. So I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, that is so key. And, if communications, I feel it's important. So I know, that's why we schedule these things, to have those talks. So.
Absolutely. So make sure that when you're having a conversation with somebody, that you truly are in the moment and you are listening to everything that they're saying. And again, not listening to respond, but listening to really understand what they're saying and where they're coming from. And if you don't, if it's okay to kind of repeat what they've said to you, to make sure that you're understanding and you're clear, because if the message you're receiving is not actually what they're saying, they can reframe that. So maybe that you'll get a better understanding of what they're saying. So just be sure to, keep those things in mind next time you're talking with somebody and you're having a, important or semi-important conversation, and feel free to, share these thoughts with that other person as well, so that they can then listen to hear what you are saying and not just to hear it, but to understand it.
Yeah. Hey, one other point that I think is like, this is obviously an immense topic, and there's books and seminars and all about communicating. And I think we probably need to go into this a little bit deeper. I was thinking about the fact of really listening for the words they use, right? When people say,
yes,
hey, can you see me? Or, to that effect. And they use the word see. So you can kind of associate that with them being a visual person. Or if they, talk about, talk about, do you feel what I'm talking about? Feel, right? So now they're kinesthetic type of person, or that type of learner. So, I mean, the communication goes extremely deep. So it's an immense topic, and I think that this is probably a good one where we can actually pull out the whiteboard and really talk about, hey,
so we'll definitely be getting back to all of you with there's going to be a lot more videos on communication because it's such a large topic, but we really just wanted to hit upon first the idea of the most important part, just being in the moment and listening when you are talking with someone.
Absolutely. So hey, one real quick book that I just finished reading that I thought was excellent. Now, it doesn't have communication in the title, but when you think about what this gentleman does, I mean, it is all communication. So the name of the book was Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. But basically, he was an FBI's top negotiator, and he talks about all the negotiations he had with, different incidents around the globe, whether with negotiating basically with terrorists. Like, we probably didn't hear about them until now in his book. But yeah, it was extremely interesting, just the way that they listened. They would have teams of people listening for any kind of cue, any kind of word that was said to gain an advantage. So yeah, definitely recommend that. Like I said, I just finished reading that one. So want to listen to that one again. But yeah, not to cut you off. Back communications, I guess. But I'm just excited about that book because I really enjoyed it.
No, and that's great. And all of these books, we will leave links below. So if you want to go check those out, you'll be able to do that. Please also remember to like and subscribe, and then hit the notification bell so you'll get all of our upcoming videos. But leave us in the comments below and let us know what you think, about communicating and listening and what the important aspects of that are for you. So have a great night, everyone, and we will see you on the next video.
Yep. See you soon.